people, they say they want more women to come into trucking, but they don't want to do what it takes to bring the women into trucking, which would be to prepare them for what to expect, the potential violence, and the power trips that people are on who are in the front line that train students. Now, in one of my last videos, I was saying something that you have to dig through the trash to get to the treasure. My female trainer did not like other women out here because this was her stage to pick up men. So she didn't, at 29, she doesn't know what it's like to be 46 and not interested in chasing men at truck stops, okay? I'm in a different place in my life. The same with another one of the co-drivers that I had. She was very, she couldn't understand why people would want to not team with her. And I really liked her, but she was way too preoccupied with other people's love life. And she saw that I'm not really interested. What I saw is that she was interested. She would say it was concerning to her that new women would come out here and be trying to date right away and meet men and truck hop, but she was too preoccupied by them when it was actually her that was trying to meet the men. So it was more of a competition thing. We didn't butt heads about that because when we stopped at a truck stop, like, I just get up on my bunk and read a book. I didn't have a laptop back then, but I would just go for a walk or read a book, and she would put on all her makeup and she would go sit inside and meet a guy and take off or whatever and stuff, and that was her trip. But she had some students that got off her truck because she was like really all up in their business about, oh, I saw you look at, it's none of her business, one. And students, if you're a female student, if you're just coming out here to just pick up on men at every truck stop, no one's going to respect you. Learn how to drive the truck first. The guys will pass you around like an hors d'oeuvre tray, no problem. That's fine. But if you get your ass in a sling, nobody's going to be around to help you. No one. Because they're going to see that every time you were stopping, you were trying to get laid everywhere you were at. So when you come down to, oh, I got in this situation and then my train, blah, 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 people are going to say, well, too bad, Nobody takes you seriously now. So if you want to be treated seriously, learn how to drive the truck first. And then, if that's your bag, whatever. I saw a girl this weekend in a truck when I stopped for a shower. And she was out there polishing up her truck. By the time I came out from my shower, she was doing the whole wax on, wax off routine at the truck stop. And by the time I came out from my shower, she had a guy in her truck watching TV. That happens in offices. That happens in apartment buildings. It happens in student dorms. So, you get these people, they want to take the moral high road and stuff, and for some reason they think that if you're going to be a woman trucker, you're supposed to go to charm school or something, which is like the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of. I mean, I know girls that are accountants that are the biggest whores I've ever met. So, if that's what you do, then whatever. I'm just saying that if you're a student and you're female and you do this, you're going to get yourself no help when you need help. There was a girl that I talked to I think it's been about 2 years now, and she got raped at a TA in Utah. And this was the scenario. She worked at my company, and she was one of these girls that hung out with the guys. She was one of the guys. She prided herself on being one of the guys that could hang out. And she was in a conversation in the TA with a some guys that were talking about the surround sound, that they had bought the flat screen TV and got the surround sound for the truck. And one guy was like, oh wow, really? Yeah, wow, cool. How did you, because I just got these speakers and I can't get the brackets installed. And she was just all so helpful to tell the guy all about how she installed it by herself, and she got these certain brackets and blah 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 blah. And he was so fascinated and just like, cool, man, right on. Hey, do you think I could see that? Oh yeah, sure, come on. So she brought him back to the truck to show how she did the brackets, and he raped her. And I know and she tried to do something about it, and I know the company, and the case went on for about a year, but at the end of the day, you know what they said? Woman trucker, what are you doing out there? You know, you brought it on yourself. So that's the attitude. It's usually the women who think they know the men the most that end up getting blindsided. One of the people that told me a story, she very much prided herself on knowing men. She was a former prison guard. Okay? And she told me that she always went to this one place up in Oregon, and every time she was there, she liked to go and hang out over at the casino and maybe have a drink. She'd not have a load for a couple days, so she could sit around for 2 or 3 days. And she'd, meet people and talk and whatever, and then one weekend she met somebody and she just doesn't remember anything after that. And when she went to the bar the next time, everybody was not very nice to her. She thinks that she got a Mickey and that she was raped or taken to somebody's room. And she said she did feel like she had had sex afterwards. But she could tell by the way that the other people treated her that something had gone on. When you're a woman and you're traveling by yourself, or even a man, you must know that you are a target for people. People are under the impression that truckers carry a lot of money on them. That's not true. I'm broke half the time. I'm broke all the time. I'll share other stories as they come along, but you have to be able to see that even if you think that you're the toughest girl in the gang banging girl, biker chick girl, you can still get yourself in trouble, because it's usually the person that you trust the most that does something to you. And when it happens, people say, well, you brought it on yourself. And that's how trucking is. It's very archaic in that manner. It's very, and anybody that's involved in like domestic violence awareness or rape awareness, you say, that's stupid, that's wrong. But trucking is backwards. They have not evolved at all. It's still very much this, boys will be boys, but the girls need to act like they're, Mother Mary, otherwise they deserve whatever happens to them. That's the attitude. And then you have this women's trucking organization that reinforces it, serve, and we recognize women who serve in silence. Okay, what is that? Serve in silence. Like, what is that? Like an altar boy and the priest raping him and he serves in silence? What is that? I don't know. Tell me. If you have a chance to see what Tom Hansen said in that first broadcast, Queen of the Road, it's important to hear what he said, not once but twice. There's a lot of very important information there that people, they seem to skip over. There's a pattern that the people that are put in charge are, I believe, the people that are causing the conflicts, and that's why you do have this pretzel logic. Today I saw an article about how wages are expected to go up in trucking. Why would wages go up in trucking when that goes against every economist's predictions about wages? Why is trucking any different? If trucking has a driver shortage that they're projecting that is as great as they say it is going to be, and so many people are unemployed, why would they need to increase wages? You could just pay them whatever you want because people just want to have a job. Trucking doesn't do anything that makes sense. They don't. So if you're coming into this job thinking that you're going to make a whole bunch of money in the first couple years, you're going to be sadly mistaken. If you're coming out here because you just want to truck and you just want to live wherever you are and you just want to, like, you know, then cool. And there's a lot of people like that. There's married couples, their kids are grown up and gone, and they want to, you know, work and have somebody else pay for the fuel, and they don't care where they end up. I met a retired law enforcement couple. They got on a reefer team, and they just roll, you know. They don't go home. They said sometimes we sit for 3 days in between loads, and we rent a car and we drive around the town wherever we're at. We've made friends in all these different places. They have their pensions from being with the police force, and so they're like, we don't care, you know, if they try to let us sit for a certain amount of time with no pay. We're together. We have our pensions. We just, you know, do what we do if we were staying at home. So there's really no reason to do the misleading recruiting, except they just to hurt people, but hurt people, you know. They could just as easily target people who are built for this. Now, another thing I want to bring up is I mentioned something about the military in my last video, being a military wife. Being a military wife does not make me be in the military. Just like Ellen Voight's ex-husband being a trucker doesn't make her one. The reason that I approached it like that, though, was for me. I think I had the perception, though, that the trucking industry would run its training a little bit more effectively, though, and I was sadly mistaken. My ex-husband went in as an enlisted man, and he became an officer, and ended up retiring as a major and teaching at West Point. That's quite an achievement. There's not very many enlisted people that would become an officer. Most officers come from an officer candidate school like West Point, and they, like someone from an Ivy League school, have the ability to get into those upper ranks without ever having to do any of the grunt work. Okay, so we were around a lot of enlisted people, and I did see you get people from all different walks of life, not too much social skills, but the military, they tear them down and they build them back up. Some don't make it. Some get in trouble. But it does make some of them man up or woman up. There wasn't a lot of women in there when we got married. Um, what I want to say though is that truck driver training, they tear you down, but they don't build you back up. They recruit the same sort of disenfranchised people that are looking for hope to change their life as the military does. But the military gives you, you have your medical, and you have your, you get to shop at the commissary, and you get all of these benefits. The thing about trucking is they take from you. They tear you down, but they don't build you back up. You have to build yourself back up. The military is not that organized when it comes to, if you're, military family and stuff, and say you gotta have a doctor's appointment. Yeah, it's great that it's free, but you work for it in labor trying to figure out how you find the right doctor to go to after you call 5,000 phone numbers and you're ready to pull your hair out. They own your life, kind of. It's a very insular group. Your friends are basically chosen by whatever platoon that you're in. So Army life is it's a unique lifestyle, and I approached the truck driver training, like I said, from wanting to be in the military. It's just so disorganized and haphazard and unsafe. It's just totally ridiculous. And it's not like I've never had a job where they didn't train you. They just said, okay, you're hired, just go do the job. There's lots of jobs like that. The problem with truck driving, though, is you can kill someone, including yourself, because of the way they train. So that's of great importance to me. And it's not only the concern for the motoring public and the huge holes in Homeland Security that I saw from the way that people are recruited and put into truck driver training. It was just simply ridiculous. So that's kind of where I want people to sort of start separating. I was coming in as the utmost professional, and I was willing to do what it takes to succeed, and I expected the same from what was paid to get this training, and I wasn't leaving without it. And that's how you have to approach truck driver training if you want to succeed. A lot of these truck training carriers make money off of ripping people off, and they don't care if you don't make it. Everybody wants to sell you something, and you don't need half the stuff that they're trying to sell you.